Hey y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones and I am a licensed clinical social worker. And you're now watching Black Girl Therapists in the Wild, and this little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing Cross Season 2, Episode 8. I think it's Quemar, something. And then we are sipping on Arnold Palmer and Mandarin Vodka. How y'all doing? Yes. I know if you've been going along from the first review, I feel vindicated. I feel justified. I called this shit from the first fucking episode and I was losing hope. I was like getting through this show, trudging along, but no, this is the mark of good writing, y'all. This is when you know writing is good, nigga. They was building up a story. They was letting y'all see the insidiousness of these white devils and why you need to stay away from sneaky snow. I pulled my motherfucking book out. I remember I got this as a joke just because I saw it on. I was like, I'm getting that shit, nigga. And I think it's AI too. Like his hand is all fucked up and shit, nigga. But I didn't know at the time. That was early on in the AI journey and shit. And I didn't know at the time that it was AI. But you know what? Fuck it. It's apropos, nigga. Girl, the last video I did was Abbott Elementary, and literally I talked about this shit in that video, and I hadn't seen this episode of Cross yet. So usually I watch Cross ahead of time, but I was losing hope, and so my heart wasn't in it. So I was just like, I'm just gonna watch it the day of. I don't care. So I hadn't watched Cross yet, so I didn't know that once again I was prophesying. What these motherfuckers do and how we need to show up as black folks and girl, the way he came. No, nigga, I was watching like clips of the Oscars last week, and I was just like sitting up here thinking about all the microaggressions that, you know, for a long time, black folks, whether they're in the industry or out of the industry, a lot of us were sitting around just thinking that it was just microaggressions that black folks was going through the industry just on a bigger level. So for me, you know, I wasn't fully on the train with the other black folks that were like, we should have our own platforms and da-da-da-da. I was just kind of like, well, these individuals have decided that they will endure the slings and arrows of being called a nigger in the middle of a meeting or at a Hollywood party and having their hair touched and da-da-da-da-da and not getting their shit signed on unless they tweak it a little bit to appease the white man and shit. So, you know, they will endure this putting colorism into their shit and all sorts of things because they're broken and also because they want to appease the white man. And so, you know, even though it hurts my feelings to see, it's none of my business. If this is what they feel they got to do as individuals to, you know, put their art out there and get ahead. But no. When I found out that there were no limits to the depravity of what motherfuckers will endure to get ahead, y'all, so basically what I have been saying over and over and over again, nefarious builds on nefarious builds on nefarious. So once you step onto that slide of compromising your soul so that you can get ahead, it's a slippery slope. The first day you're thinking it's just them touching your hair and saying fucking weird shit here and there, and then you're sliding into them sexually assaulting you and shit, and then the next day you're sliding into baby eating land and shit because you thought that you had to sacrifice yourself to get to where you need, and that everybody has to do it. That's why Tyra Banks did that shit to them girls, because she basically was traumatized her damn self, and she basically subconsciously and consciously thought them girls deserved to go through the same shit she did when it's a choice to hurt people. Just because you were hurt doesn't mean that you have to choose to hurt people. Doesn't mean. So, you know, once I realized the slippery slope of compromising your soul and that these people don't have limits or rules for themselves, I started to wonder, why don't they have limits or rules for themselves to where, like, because they are too scared to be homeless. They are too scared to be poor. They are too scared to endure whether because they came from it and they were so traumatized by it that they never want to get back to it, or they never came from it and they never want to endure some shit that looks horrible from a distance. And so I just feel like in my soul, but you enduring eating babies and killing your soul, like I don't. So then it made me realize, you know what? I need to love myself to a certain extent, because I don't love myself enough if I'm sitting up here saying shit like I don't ever want to be homeless. And that's why I started along my career path, because I wanted to make sure I had a job that would make sure that I would never be homeless. That I've been so scared of being homeless ever since I was a kid. Now I had to reassess that and be like, no, there maybe needs to be some things that I would be homeless for. There may need to be some things that I would be poor for, because there may need to be some things that I would die for, because, obviously this compromising of your soul for corporate is a slippery slope. Whether you're compromising your soul for corporate, your personal life, friends, partnerships, family relationships, chaotic people that will make you compromise your soul, their soul is already compromised. And so the chaotic manipulators, they literally run off of chaos. So you think that you're going to get to a point where they will leave you alone, and you'll get to a certain level and you'll get this little tin medal golden calf award. And like they're gonna see you as a person. They're gonna treat you different. They're gonna keep kissing up to the white man. Okay. Reason I say that about these awards is just because, like, at the point where you realize that you were in the room with baby eaters and pedophiles, or that they want you to participate in these things, like that's the point where I don't care about this award anymore. Like now my suffering is pouring out into other innocent people that had nothing to do with me trying to get ahead, and I'm not going to forfeit the children so that I can get ahead. And I just feel in my spirit that is some type of idol devil worship when you would say I would forfeit the children. And the thing is that they sit up here, I would forfeit the children. I need to finish my sentences. I'll be watching my videos back and realize I'll be finishing sentences. And you would forfeit the children to get ahead, and like that's evil. And so, like, you sitting up here with these awards at these award shows, and you got all these black people in these rooms, and your artistry and your talent is forfeit at that point, because you're not winning award based off of talent and merit at that point. You're winning awards based off of what are the executives trying to say here? What is the white supremacist government trying to say here? What are they trying to puppet you to do? Because I promise you, these people that won all these awards, if they had came out and spoke about Palestine and all them other people, they wouldn't even be on that show. So obviously your artistry doesn't matter if you don't have freedom of speech in your personal life. That if you opened your mouth and said something in particular, they wouldn't even nominate you. And so, or they feel that they wouldn't nominate them because there was a Palestinian documentary, I think, that won a documentary last year at the Oscars, and yet these famous people are still not saying anything, and so they feel that's afraid. There was like 2 famous people, I think, I saw a couple clips that said some shit about Palestine, but even then we're too afraid to say shit about all of it. They're saying shit about Palestine, but they're not saying shit about Epstein and how y'all friends that you hang out with how y'all co-workers that you ain't, some of them are participating in this shit. So you're culpable because you're not saying shit. And so no, your art and your talent is forfeit. It doesn't count. It doesn't count if it's falsified by these white supremacists that don't give a fuck about people. So, I just felt justified in watching Cross and seeing him basically say the same shit that I said at the end of this. But he was just like, I can't be a part of a system that does this to children, and nobody gave a shit. And I had to do all this to prove, I had to do illegal shit that could have got me arrested and in jail just to prove that this was happening within our system. And so then he put his gun and his badge down. He walked the fuck out. And I was like, yes, God, honey, Yes, that is a man. When I say I want a husband, this character is a man. You know, he had his little hiccup, his little mental health situation. You know, he messed with them snow bunnies and things, and you know he did. And he learned a lesson. You put your penis in a sociopath. That's why she was barefoot, just like that dirty ass white man. They made sure to show they dirty ass white feet, because they are not grounded into the earth like people of color are. When we go barefoot, they are grounded into death. That white man walked over them children's graves barefoot on purpose. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's why Cross was able to let Luz go and believe her in the previous episode, because like he knew deep down she was coming from a good place, and he knew somewhere in his heart the system didn't care. And so he wasn't reading evil off of Luz like he would any other criminal. So that's why, because he's sensitive and emotional, he let her go, and he said, okay, well, she's going to turn herself in. I know, love. She, girl, and this black woman, Ella, bitch, they brought the black women back. And now I understand, even though I wish the black women had been throughout, they needed to establish the foundation of white supremacy. They needed to show you how insidious and they needed to show you that white woman and how insidious and evil and fucked up she actually was, and how she kept still trying to play face in front of this nigga. And because this nigga was in a vulnerable position and he was emotional and shit, he's still traumatized from his wife getting killed. So, and he's still thinking that he has to do every motherfucking thing by himself, because when he involved his family before his wife got killed, not realizing that you need to ask for help, nigga. That's why all L wanted was for you to do what you did at the end of this episode and be like, just tell her what's going on. Tell her what's going on and let her support you through it. Let the fucking neighborhood support you through it. And Elle was just sitting there like, I knew this was going to happen because you're a good man. And he is, Savannah girl. He just needed a moment, and she knew he was a good man, and he just needed to have an existential crisis. Like I told you in the first motherfucking review, he needed to have an existential crisis. I wish there was a little bit more groveling, but you know, he's a very stoic man. And because he's very stoic, his emotional expression, his grief, his disillusionment is going to be stoic. But I still felt it in my soul that this man had a epiphany. He had a disillusionment, and the disillusioned look on his face at the end of the show was the same disillusioned shit I'm feeling at these black fucking celebrities that I thought were decent fucking people. For the most part, you know, they putting themselves do shit and stuff and things like that, but most of them are decent people. No, nigga. No, because they know. It don't matter if you didn't participate, you know, and you ain't saying a motherfucking thing. And I can't even cape for the actors on this show. This is owned by Prime, by Jeff Bezos, a billionaire. Like I don't even know how many of these actors on this show know or are like, and the fact that it's getting a season 3, and last review I was like, I wasn't even excited for Abbott Elementary season 6. Because I don't even know the intentions of any of these people. I mean, I'm kind of excited for Across season 3, because at least they talked about it. It was on a smaller scale. We didn't include the Zionists. We didn't include a worldwide network, but it was on a smaller scale. But it still basically gave you the blueprint. He went back to the neighborhood. He got his people. He's showing black people what to do. And because people are so lost in the sauce and in this negative space, they're just like the fucking FBI agent, the fucking head of the FBI that was trying to follow him back to his office to get the damn flash drive he had from Luz. And he's sitting up there talking, and I was just like, why is he in the bathroom with him? So there washing his hands in the bathroom with this nigga, talking about, you know, and we can't, and goodness isn't for us type of folks like it is for regular folks, you know, like we have to embrace a certain level of evil when you get to this level, and you've normalized it so much. No, you don't. It's a choice. You're choosing this. You don't want to deal with the consequences of choosing good good and the potentiality of having to sacrifice yourself or anybody else. That's the problem. And that's why we will never experience good. I was talking about in my last video how this makes me think of Beloved. This makes me think of when she killed her babies because she refused to have them be traumatized in slavery. And when I did the review, I was just sitting up there like, I don't know if I would kill my babies. And now I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I would kill my babies, but I would do whatever the fuck I needed to do to make sure that they were safe, that did not involve me harming other babies. Just like he said on here, my children, like other children aren't forfeit for my fucking kids. The fuck are you talking about? Because then you're just raising your kids in a world where eventually they're going to get touched because you turned your back on the other children. You're raising your children in a world where eventually, because it's so rampant to harm children, your children will eventually get touched, or they will get around people that touch other children, and they will be talked into, and their soul is going to be forfeit eventually. So no, absolutely not. Like my children, other children's lives aren't forfeit for my fucking children to live and thrive and all this other shit. What the fuck are you talking about? Just like that banker lady they showed in the beginning, how she's a horrible ass person and she set up there and trafficked other babies, but sitting up here begging this woman to stay around her own children. I'm glad that bitch killed her. Why? You're not a good mother. Why? Girl, absolutely not. Girl, no, like I was talking about how like this makes me think about the book of Job. This is, if you're not a Christian, you haven't been taught this in the church or nothing, there's this book in the Bible called Job, and literally Jesus, like one of the angels, because we're not sure it was the devil. We're not sure it was the devil yet. One of the angels bet Jesus that this dude named Job, who had everything and was at peace and worshiped him all the time, would stop worshiping God if God took away all his shit, like family, land, all his shit. And so God took away everything. He said bet. And so he took away everything. And for the longest time I was just like, why would God like do that? Like why would he bet on somebody's life? I still don't understand why God would bet, why he would be the initiator. I'm hovering around, maybe it's a parable, maybe because the Bible's been edited so many times, maybe it's like a story and it didn't actually happen that way. But I am now taking in the story and realizing why it's there, because we as human beings do that shit to ourselves. We hold it over we blackmail each other, we hold that shit over each other's heads, and then we decide that materials are more important than our souls, and then we can be talked into anything and shit, including eating babies and molesting children and sex trafficking children and all sorts of things. And so, no, I'm gonna be like Job, like absolutely not. Now I have I have a new rock bottom. My rock bottom never included homelessness, because I just kept saying I'm never gonna be homeless. No, now I have a new rock bottom, and I just need to make plans around it in case I ever were to have to tap into that rock bottom. I have to just make a plan, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be susceptible to having my soul eaten. Because y'all motherfuckers like are easily like, there's niggas out there that want to talk me into some bullshit or whatever because they want to take advantage of whatever my talents and shit are. Absolutely not. Or just even in corporate, even like I'm not gonna be talked into being sexually assaulted by my fucking supervisor and shit like that, or talked into not suing that whole motherfucker and burning it down to the ground. Like, no, like I'm not gonna put myself in positions where I'm susceptible to that. And it's not necessarily because white people made the world the way it is. There is a level of towing the line that you have to do, but you have to have a limit. What is my limit? Know your limit before you toe that line and deal with certain things to get ahead. Okay, I'm going to have a limit to make sure that I don't end up in this certain position. If my limit has always been children. Like, even when I was at my lowest, most saddest, most I hate myselfist and everything, my limit has always been children. I've never ever wanted to harm a child, and you wasn't going to talk me into harming a child, and all of these things. And so absolutely not. Like, so Job lost all his shit and he still worshiped God, and God gave it back 10 times fold. So you know what? I just, I see why that book is in the Bible now. I don't know if it's a parable or if God was out here playing games with people's lives. I don't know that part, but I see why we need an example of what that shit looks like to lose everything just to maintain your soul, because I'm not about to sit up here and hold for materials. No, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, no, like, and I would teach my future kids that too. Like, you're not going to give up your fucking soul. I don't care if they did tell you that they're going to kill me. Like, you need to make sure that you keep your soul safe. I'll protect all of us. We'll figure it out. We gotta go somewhere. We'll figure it out. That don't mean I ain't gonna fight, nigga. But like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in a position where my soul is forfeit just because I want to keep us alive and shit. And then you end up in a world where people are just touching babies and doing evil things, and you end up with your kids around these people, and they probably going through shit, and they being molested by these people, and it just keeps going on. You're not keeping anybody safe by protecting yourself by going along with this fucking fuck shit and okie doke. You're just allowing your future children and your family members to be around them motherfuckers now, and absolutely not, absolutely the fuck not. Put your kids in martial arts, make sure they get to black belt, and make sure they know how to fight just as well as you, and get the fuck up out of here and do what you need to do. Like, get away from it. Like, Susan Sarandon is the bravest bitch I ever seen. She out here, like, and she don't care. She said, I have money saved, I don't need fame. These motherfuckers is fiending for attention and fiending for fame to the point where they kissing this golden calf and this false idol, and accepting these awards from these people that have no intention of seeing them for human beings. They have no intention of seeing you for the human being you are, and it's fake, it's foolishness. And to have one battle after another, when best movie, when they up there denigrating black women and objectifying us and making us look fucking crazy and shit. Absolutely not. I don't. And now I'm seeing because they gathered it. They gathered it like a good slick back ponytail at the very end of the show. Why they didn't have these black women on here? Because they kept them safe. They kept them away, and they kept them safe because the last season he was involving he was involving Elle with serial killers and shit. And then also he needed to go through his mental health journey by fucking this white woman and realizing the devil that she is, and being disillusioned by the system that he's working for, and figure it out in the end that no, it was your family that was there for you, the neighborhood people that was there for you. That's what you use against these evil motherfuckers. And so it's magical. And then lose, we're just gonna all over the place. I wish she didn't have to. She didn't die though. And he did it just like Get Out. I feel like in my spirit it could have went either way. When that nigga said that, there was an ending where that nigga died and Get Out and stuff, but he picked the ending where that nigga lived, and I was like, yes, because as you should. So like when we saw her back at the end of this, I was just like, yes, she did live. Yeah, I was even right about that shit. I was like, they gonna let that bitch walk. That bitch walked, and she did. And so the fact that Cross was he believed this white woman all the way up until the point where he got in that office, and they started telling him that he had to give over that flash drive, and we're not going to arrest this billionaire because we want his little energy seed or whatever, because he wants to play fucking God and shit. And then that bitch turned on him so quick. But the thing is, it's like she still left herself an out, because she still wanted to seem like a good person. So she knew he had the flash drive when he lied, didn't say nothing, and low key I think she knew he gave the flash drive to the senator, and that was as much as she was going to do for that man. She wasn't going to in his face say that I'm going to help you. No. And that's what he meant at the end. All y'all motherfuckers was out here letting him be on the run, and the most that y'all could do was the black lieutenant was like, I don't know where he is. I was like, I know, girl. But if he was in that office, if they had arrested him and brought him to that the county jail and shit, and had him in holding there, would you have set him free? Would you have orchestrated to set him free? Would you have broken him out? No, that's what he means. That's what he if he hadn't have gotten that, and if he had on instinct knew that that senator was a decent fucking person. Girl, the way they wouldn't have did shit if they had brought him into holding and had him arrested and he was sitting in one of them little county jail cells. They would have just came by and been like, I'm sorry, Cross. It's so sad. They would have did shit. And that's what he's talking about. And that's why when he was talking at the end with the captain and the lieutenant, and the white woman, the captain, was just like, what do you mean? But as soon as he said what he said, the black woman just sat down. She because she gets it as a black woman, as a person, as a minority. She gets it because we all feel that way. It's just Cross is brave enough to walk the fuck out. But she didn't keep hounding him like that white woman did, because that white woman also has a level of adherence to the system that black people of color don't have. We still have a kind of level of like, this is wrong, but we feel like we need to put up with it. That we feel inside, but a lot of us aren't going to act on it. And that's what that lieutenant was doing. She sat down and she didn't say nothing. She didn't keep begging him like that white woman did. She understood immediately, and she was like, damn, that's a man. Look at him standing up for himself. Look at him setting boundaries. Look at him being disillusioned. Look at him running from the police. Look at him. Oh God, that is a man. He is a superhero. I've been asking God to show me what a real man looks like. And this nigga, and with this character, show just the character. I don't know this nigga in real life. He could be a girl. I don't fucking know. Like, but the character that this man is playing is amazing. I don't care. In this moment, in this season, at this episode, that is a man. That is a real, and the way he just looked so disillusioned and angry at the end, like he was ready to burn the world to the ground. And I was like, yeah, you can burn something like daddy. I'm like, girl, the way, like, give him the awards and shit, nigga. He played this part, because girl, that is a man. That is a man. None of these niggas is niggas. He didn't care. The fact that your morals and value, your self-love, girl, I can't have a nigga that don't love himself. The way I'm feeling inside right now after seeing this, it has solidified that I cannot have a man that does not love himself, does not stand on his morals and values, does not care about nothing but getting ahead, don't care about himself, kissing fucking golden calves and shit. Nigga, that mean nothing, because you can't say shit about real shit or you won't get the golden calf, so it doesn't mean anything. This is a contingency on whether or not you say some shit. So like, your talent didn't matter. You could be Shakespeare and shit, nigga, but like, because you said some shit about some shit they didn't like, you not getting this shit, nigga. Like that means your talent never mattered. Like, because you should be able to protest. You should be able to say shit. You should be able to say when something's wrong in the world and still not have to forfeit the award that represents your artistry. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. And it just makes motherfuckers look like bitches and shit. But no one wants to actually hear that, because absolutely not. Let's idolize motherfuckers and shit. Girl, I'm not putting nobody up on a pedestal. I didn't even say this actor is a man. I said this character that he is portraying is a man. This fanciful person that is not real in real life. And I wish I would run into a black man that's around my age that loved himself like this. Girl, the way I would cherish this motherfucker. No, you gotta. Do you see how rare it is? You got motherfuckers out here like worshiping golden idols and shit, knowing that it's the devil behind it because they don't want to They don't want to give up their materials and shit like Job did, and they would forfeit the children. Because that's a part of the struggle that they had to endure. To get here is I had to struggle and go to the casting calls and be poor and do all this, and on top of that I was silent about knowing about touching the babies and eating the children. So that is added to the regular struggle that most motherfuckers who are poor that become famous actors have to go through. That's added to the struggle. And so I feel justified in getting this award because I struggled to get here to the top. Them niggas microaggressing me and calling me all sorts of names and feeling like I wasn't shit because I told myself that I had to be around these white people and endure this so that I could be at the top. Yep. And on top of that, I didn't say shit about them babies. So you give me my golden cap. Do you see how that's bitch made? Like, no one sees how that's bitch made. Like, I don't understand why. This nigga is risking going to jail. That is a superhero. This nigga is a super fucking... No, Cross is a superhero. I don't care what you're talking about. This nigga is a superhero. This nigga is Superman. This character... in this moment, I don't know what next season will bring. In this moment is a super fucking hero, and he exemplifies how all black men should be. It took him a second to get here. He had to evolve. You know, he had to stick his penis in poison. So he can feel the real disgust of it when he looked her in the eyes and saw that she was like the devil, the barefoot devil walking over people's corpses. She was just like that nigga. She was just more insidious about it and shit. She just cared about getting a head love and getting some dick. That's all. That's why in the beginning when she was in the diner and she first told him about the CIA special or whatever the fuck she called it, the FBI special, and like she didn't really go deep into detail with it. And I was just and he asked if he could help her, and she was just like, "No, I don't need your help. I was just telling you about it." And I was just like, "No, you're telling him about it so that you can have him in your back pocket because you're desperate and some shit had just happened before she told him, where she found out she could get killed or whatever. And so you're telling him this so that he can be strung to you emotionally, so if you need to use him eventually, you can take him out of your back pocket and use him. That's what you're doing, love. You're not telling him just because you need somebody to talk to. Don't fucking play these reindeer games." And that's why niggas need black women on their arm, because when that bitch rode up to Elle's house on some Barbara and Sandra shit, whatever the fuck that bitch's name was in that song, I was just like, why are you at this bitch house? And then when Elle opened the door and the look on her face said, "I know, I done clocked this bitch from jump, nigga." This nigga over here is emotional and sensitive, you know, and that's why you need a good black woman on your arm, because these niggas be surrounding themselves by toxic ass people. They don't, because society will put a black man on this pedestal to a certain extent, as long as they kiss enough ass and they get rewarded for that. That's why I always say they're the white man's handbag. Usually they're the white man's accessory. As long as you follow along and do what they say, they'll put you on this pedestal. But if they need somebody to throw under the bus, they will throw you under the bus immediately. That's all they're keeping you there for, is somebody to throw under the fucking bus. And so like, when she opened the door and I saw it in her eyes, she clocked that hoe. And then that bitch was trying to put on her fake ass tears, and Elle saw right fucking through it. And I was just like, yes, girl. When he came to her house and trying to get his go bag and telling her all the shit, and she basically set him down and was like, "You got us. when she let him know, like, you don't have to be so traumatized that you think you could do this all by yourself. Look, that's white people. That's why we are a communal people. We're a tribe. And then the neighborhood came through. I think that when he drove out of there and they found him, I think that was the same garage from what's that, Ironheart, that little girl's garage from Ironheart. I think that was the same. It looked like it. I was like, this looks familiar, and I was like, yes. And then he went to his favorite neighborhood diner, and they brought the troops through. They was all for him. They was all gonna make sure that this nigga was gonna get away, but let him have been arrested. Them people in that police station wouldn't have set him free. They wouldn't have set him free. No, they wouldn't have. They would have just looked at him sad in the face through the bars and been like, "This so sad that you got caught cross." And that's why he left. And that's why that black woman sat down and didn't say shit, because she knew. He's just the only one brave enough to leave, to say something and leave, to risk his freedom and leave when he was free. Like, that is a man, a strong, powerful man. That's what it looks like. I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't think I've ever like visually like seen it on the television, like what a man looks like. Oh God, it was so beautiful. Look how he stood up. He didn't give a fuck. He risked it all. He said, absolutely not. Absolutely. Oh God. That nigga is not a bitch. He isn't. He just was going through some shit and he needed to figure it out on his own. And sometimes we need to just separate from the people we care about and figure shit out and hope that the people we care about is still there when we figure the shit out. And Elle was always still there. Elle realized that he was going through some shit, and sometimes it behooves us to wait on a nigga because we know deep down that he's going to figure it out, because she knew deep down that nigga was going to figure it out one day and he was going to crash the hell out, and she was going to be there for him because he's not a bad man. He's not a cheater. He just is sitting up here thinking that he needs to not tell motherfuckers shit and just do shit on his own, while at the same time putting motherfuckers in danger and shit. No, he figured it out though. He figured it out. I hope he continues to keep figuring it out. This is a lifelong lesson in training and things like that. Girl, the way he said, I am not going to forfeit other children's lives, the way, oh God. And then I said, like, when I said like they had that little Latin boy come to his house on purpose because, you know, they need to humanize these children and stuff, and he really loves children because he has children, even though he don't be at the house that often. He loves his children, and he loved children in a decent, positive way, and he knew that shit was wrong, so he needed to humanize them children in the eyes of the audience by having one of them children come to his house and solidify that no, this nigga cares about the kids. And so, just to have at the end, when you just saw the pain in his eyes, the stoic grief, the disillusionment of, this is what it is. Yes, honey, this is what it's been. That's why Luz wasn't bad. Like, she had to do what she had to do because look what you almost had to get arrested just to change a law, just to get this motherfucker arrested. And I still believe that this motherfucker is about to go to the Martha Stewart Cottage jail for 6 months. He's not going to be in there that long. And then he's going to see how the system really works. That's why that white man was standing there, like, when they said that he was arrested and he was going to be in jail forever, he just kind of shrugged like, no. Girl, I hope they go deeper into this plot. I hope they turn it into a worldwide network. I hope it, because they're showing the blueprint, just like I said in the first video I did for this review of this series. They're showing the blueprints of what we need to do. Girl, don't let me forget Nana Mama. Nana Mama went over there and read that whole fulfilled Lil Jon's mom and shit. It's two John's mom and shit, and was like, you's a dirty, down low, raggedy ass bitch, and I just need you to do one thing for me, for your son. If you could just do that, and picking a fucking man over your damn son and shit. And she gave her his dad's information, and his dad wants to meet him, and so it worked out. He maybe he might even have one decent biological parent in his life. And she apologized for not telling him, but I would have caveated that apology and I would have done it again. You were going to be around that sociopath. So you can be mad at me. I'm sorry that you're mad at me, but no, this is the appropriate time where you're supposed to meet her, because she's a sociopath, and your child mind, moldable child mind, she was going to continuously manipulate this baby until he turned into a monster, traumatized this baby. The best thing she could have did was to let him go and never show back up in his life. That was the best thing she could have ever done for this child. And so, you know what? He's going to meet his daddy. And he was crying. This big man just crying, just holding her. And I was like, that's right, Allspice man. You're going to meet your daddy. It was beautiful. That is a man. He is. It is. Like, I don't know what to, girl. He threw it all away. He threw it all away for his heart, for his self-love. He threw it all away for his love of his and his morals. He didn't give a fuck. And he said, I'm going to rely on my family and my community and shit, and we'll figure it the fuck out. And that's all I'm saying. Like, take the risk and rely on the people that you surrounded yourself who love you to be there for you as you take that risk. Like, just take the risk. Like, cause not taking the risk is digging you deeper into that hole that leads straight into hell. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you, because like, none of this shit matters if it's based off of a moldy foundation. None of it matters if it's based off of some bullshit. Like, they even show, like, I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but they even show, like, the thing that made Cross sleep with this white woman is just one thing that they have in common, is the fact that they can look at shit and analyze it real quick. So you think you have the same brain as this bitch, when this bitch ain't got no empathy or morals or values. You're not even looking at that part. You're just looking at, we can look at, like, when she found out where he was when he went to the senator's office and shit, and, like, you know, because she looked at the pictures and analyzed it like he did and shit. But that's all they had in common. That's all they had in common. This bitch didn't care about this man. She kept getting mad that he was getting accolades, even when the senator was, like, giving him support. He praised the FBI for doing a good job, and then he specifically named Alex Cross. Her face fucking fell. That bitch ain't rooting for you, honey. That bitch is just as bad as that billionaire nigga. Took her shoes off and everything. This raggedy ass white hoe. And I don't care, I'll be barefoot. It's my motherfucking house. I'm grounded into earth. I'm grounded into God, bitch. Them niggas, he was walking on the bodies of the dead children, barefoot, grounded into death. Yes. He was grounded into death and destruction and despair. That's what he was grounded into. And absolutely the fuck, girl, I've just the justification of feeling right. I knew where this was going to end up, but I was falling off towards the middle, and people were commenting on Instagram on the Cross thing, talking about, like, yeah, the show kind of was slow in parts and stuff. And I was just like, no, that wasn't it being slow. That was you not being self-aware. That the feeling was, every time he would get with that white woman and seem to be falling for white supremacy and trying to, like, get this Latin bitch, like, the feeling was this slow rise of racism your nervous system that made it off-putting to the point where it makes you kind of want to stop watching, but then you just kind of, you're invested, so you're just sitting there with this feeling of racism in your chest, just upset. Like, that's why I waited till the day that I did the video to watch the show, when I was watching Cross, like, the same day when the beginning, because I was like, oh, well, if I watch it ahead of time, then I only have to, like, watch it one more time on the day that I do the video. No, I said the disillusionment was rising, the racism was rising, and I was just like, so I'm self-aware enough to name that, instead of just being like, oh yeah, this show is slow in some parts. And no, that wasn't slow. That was the racism in your nervous system rising up and making you feel uncomfortable watching this, because I didn't know where it was gonna go. I really didn't. So you know the thing that happened in the beginning, the way it started off, and it ended the way that I expected it to be, and I am so happy. It's the small things. It's the little things. This little life. This little life. It's the little things. It's the little wins. It's the little wins that make you feel justified. And because this is such good representation of what we need to be doing as black people. Are we gonna do it? I don't know how brainwashed we are. I don't fucking know if we're gonna do anything that even slightly resembles this shit. Because literally at this point, you need to be close to these motherfucking people that are doing shit like this, and you need money, or you need a special set of skills to, like Luz had and shit, something. I was scared the senator wasn't going to give do the thing, but I think that Cross is good. His instincts are good when he's around, when he recognizes people that are good people. His instincts are good. Like Luz was a good person. That's why it was hard for him to like think of her as a bad person, or think of her as lying to him, because she was a good person, and she knew that this was the only way that these people were going to get what they what they deserved, because the system wasn't going to arrest this billionaire, and the system may not even leave him in prison for that long, but at the very least his company is destroyed, his reputation is destroyed, and that's something. It's better than nothing. I don't know what to tell you. This little life. But the senator did what he was supposed to do. Josh Peck did. Yes, he did. And yes, I'm like, I could see him as being the next president in this universe, just because he did that shit, nigga. Like, he actually did some real nigga shit. Like, because they don't want to like make people of color or women or anything actual presidents and stuff. So it's going to be some white man again. So I could see in this universe him being the president of the United States. That genuinely cares about motherfuckers and shit. This little life. Oh God. Oh, we need some more real niggas in this world. Niggas ain't got no heart, nigga. Like, we kissing golden calves and shit, nigga. Like, we over here, this is my lifelong achievement, and we're just gonna ignore all of the baby screams in the ground and shit, nigga. I got my lifelong achievement has been obtained. Fuck them baby screams in the background and shit. No, not when it's drenched in blood. It's not an achievement when it's drenched in other people's blood. It's not your own blood, sweat, and tears that this thing is drenched in, love. It's the babies that you ignored, that you acted like wasn't real, that you pretended wasn't, like, it's tainted. And I just feel like because it's tainted, you're inviting a bad energy object into your space, into your home. And God bless all them award winners and shit that just, especially the black ones that just, like, have invited a bad energy object into their space that's tainted in the blood of babies. Cross is a man. Yes, he is. God. Oh, I don't think these niggas exist. I think Malcolm X was the last nigga that. I mean, Martin Luther King was getting there, but like, he was a Zionist, and like, they was doing shit back then to them Palestinians. He was a Zionist. And like, towards the end, like, he started getting more militant and shit, and that's when they killed him. So like, but Malcolm X was militant all the fucking the way through and shit. That nigga was trying to burn shit down. He had guns and shit, was trying to blow shit. Girl, a man. And they was like, look what happened. But if we had just kept coming, like we did though, we had the Black Panthers, so they had to get creative and put like crack in our neighborhoods to get us all like when you spread the white stuff around to get the moths. That white chalk shit that people be using to get moths and shit, like that's what they had to do to us. But now that we know the tricks, and we know not to listen, don't trust them white motherfuckers over there. That's all we had to realize. Stop. That's why they had the insidious version of the white people, so you could see and understand that this is how deep it gets. They will look like your best friend, honey. They'll look like, but when it comes down to the count and it was about them getting ahead, that narcissistic sociopathic shit that's bred into their culture kicks in and shit. And I wouldn't that's why I was looking at the senator until he actually spoke the words and called that motherfucker out. I was just side-eyeing him, like, you know, like, and I was thinking, like, Cross can recognize decent people. Why didn't he recognize that white bitch? But because that white bitch pretended for so long, and he thought her cutthroatness was just a part of her. I know, because that's what niggas do. That's what niggas talk themselves into. You know, you gotta make sure you see it. Yes, the subliminal message is. So he probably talked himself into believing that her cutthroatness was just a part of just her personality. Like, that makes her, you know, I can be cutthroat too, and we, you know, see the world in a similar way when it comes to our job. And so, you know, just talking yourself through it, just making shit up instead of just seeing the red flags that bitch is crazy. You see it now, though. Look, the disgust that you have when you realize you put your penis in a fucking narcissistic sociopath and shit that only cares about getting ahead and doesn't care about other people's lives and shit. That's why I kept saying she was standing outside of the rooms where the soldiers were going in and out to, like, get their testing. She saw that soldier that bashed his head into the fucking blocks be taken out of the room. She saw them soldiers coming. Even if you weren't in the room and you didn't know what was happening, you saw them coming out looking injured, looking emaciated, looking fucked up in the face. And you sitting up there steadily just saying, well, I wasn't in the room, I wasn't supplying the test, I just got the soldiers for this. Girl, you're not taking accountability for the part you're playing. That's a red flag. It lets me know that you got some shit going on. And that's why that lady, you know, that lady that she kidnapped was like, we all know who you are. They know deep down who you are. You a fucking vicious kiss ass. You a vicious people pleaser. You will do anything to get on top, and they know that about you, and they play that against you. And that's why you have to have morals and values, or you're just going to be the slave puppet of these white supremacists, colonialists, baby eating motherfuckers, and you're gonna have a bad energy object in your home, in your safe space. You're gonna think it's a award and shit, and for all the hard work you put in by not talking about the baby eaters and stuff. Yep. I feel bad for them people. Just sitting there, just I can't do it. I cannot. I could not thrive like that. I couldn't. This achievement that motherfuckers wanted their whole life and shit, just to find out, like, I would immediately let it go if I found out that what it took to get. Absolutely not. I'm not. This isn't an award. This isn't a reward. Like, this is hell. So to get this little fake shit, I have to do all of this fucking evil shit. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. My reward is in just creating the shit, just creating the shit and living my life. And, you know, because my soul is clean, nigga. Like, you out here doing evil ass shit, allowing evil ass shit, letting the motherfuckers that eat the babies talk all up in your face with baby meat on their breath. Girl, get out of my face. It's evil energy. It's evil satanic energy. And motherfuckers is kissing it and shit. And girl, shame. shame God, feel some of it, feel some shame, because your lack of shame is a part of the system that is keeping these babies imprisoned. And girl, they don't care about these kids. I think that's why, like, that fuck them kids like slogans are, like, I feel like they be feeding some slogans into the populace and shit, because, like, people be going hard about that fuck them kids, and I just be like, and I used to say it too, but now I'm just like, I'm not mad at kids. They just kids. Like, I don't really, like, think fuck them kids. Like, they be annoying sometimes because they kids and they don't know shit, but, like, they can't help that. And that ain't none of my business. I ain't got no fucking kids and shit. If I had kids, I still wouldn't be fuck them kids. It would be annoying, but like I would love them and we would just work through it. We would figure it the fuck out, the annoying parts. Like in healthy ways, healthy positive ways, consistent rewards and consequences and shit like that and all that other stuff, and going to Disneyland randomly just because, shut the fuck up, we're going to Disneyland. That's an evil empire too. I know. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like if it's between like knowing about eating babies and like going to Disneyland and shit, like I probably would have to stop if I found out that they was over there with the babies in prison underneath the theme park and shit. But like for right now, it's my happy place that I need to go to decompress sometimes. So I'll just have the dual mentality that this is an evil empire, but I need to go to my happy place sometimes. So I don't know what to tell you. They taking everything else away. Y'all niggas is out here kissing fucking awards that are covered in blood. Like I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to like, nobody's doing substantial things to end this tragedy of a world and shit. So I just feel like I'm going to take my whimsy where I can get it. Like, I don't know. I'm going to Disneyland. So, until the day they find them children trapped under the park, like they've been talking about, I'm going to and on that day, the funeral that I will have in my head, I'm just gonna have to cancel all my clients for a couple weeks and just be by myself and just laments about how I can never go to Disneyland again because they found cages of children underneath the theme park and some stupid shit. Oh God, but right now there's no proof of that, so there's no proof of that happening, so I'm gonna go. You're gonna leave me the fuck alone. But at least I'm aware that it's bad, and I say it out loud, and I don't lie about it, and I don't make excuses for it. It's just something that is bad that I'm gonna keep doing. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like, I have a limit though. Shit, if it involves children, I have a limit. So that's the best I can give you right now. For right now, I know they fund Palestinian, Israelis, and all this other shit, and it's horrible. And I'm still gonna go to Disneyland. It's horrible. It's the devil. That's the devil in me. That's the little sprinkle of devil in me. And I just, it is what it is. I just, God bless. One day I'll evolve, but like for right now, you taking everything from me. I'm going to find peace somewhere. I'm going to find peace. I don't like roller coasters and big rides and shit. I want to mosey around a theme park and pretend like I'm in a different world. Leave me alone. So anyways, no, I can't like no. But Cross is a man. That nigga said, other children aren't forfeit for my children. I can't be a part of a system where I almost had to get arrested in order to put the truth out there. Like they probably would have in real life tried to kill that nigga, made it look like a suicide, like, and I felt it in my spirit, because who's out there saying shit like that? Who's out there out loud in the world trying to help people? Trying to help people will forfeit their whole careers, their whole livelihoods. All of their materials can be put up on the chopping block and potentially taken away from them, just to stand on the grounds of morality and helping people and helping the children. Who out there is doing that? That's on a high up level and shit. In mass, them motherfuckers in mass on a high up level with money that could actually make change and actually has the following to make that type of change. I just kissing that motherfucking thing. That's none of my business. It isn't. It's just, we just wish we loved ourselves more. I wish, because if it was me, the bad bitch I am, I wouldn't even showed up to that shit. Or if I did show up to that shit, I would have went up to that bitch and been like, I can't accept this award on the basis that, this is a room where there are various people in this industry. This is an industry. I won't say room. I'll say industry, where various people in our industry have harmed children. And I feel like this is covered in blood and children and the poor babies. And I can't accept this. But, I appreciate that you thought of me. Oh God, I appreciate that you thought on live television too. They probably would have cut that shit out. On live television and let the chips fall where they may, because because I don't have it. I don't. That would have been a perfect standpoint for a motherfucker to say some shit on that stage in front of everybody after winning an award or some shit, and nobody did that. Nobody said I forfeit this award. No, instead with their silence, they said I forfeit the children. I just okay, nigga. Anyways, this I felt vindicated. You know, as an Aries season, I felt so right, and it felt so good to feel so right. It's like when I watch SVU and I can figure out who the killer is in the first 5 minutes of the episode. Doesn't happen always, but girl, to know. To know I called this shit from the very first few episodes and shit, and I was like, you know, and this is what's gonna happen, and he's gonna rise up and he's gonna apologize to this black woman, and he's gonna see that this system is evil, and he's gonna do some shit about it. And I was, girl, and he did, and they dragged us along till they could show us what the insidiousness of whiteness and how easy it is to fall for the bullfuckery and think these people are your friends until it's down to the count and shit. And then they showed the senator as a decent white person that, you know, wants to actually make change and shit like that. But they can be susceptible too. Even the decent white people can be susceptible, because who's in his ear? Who's telling him not to do that? Is he going to stand firm with these people in his ears telling him not to do that and shit? Like, Cross quit his job. He said, fuck it. But like, you know, there's going to be a season 3. And I just am, I'm on the edge of my seat. How is this going to unfold now that he doesn't have a job? Like, is he like a private eye in the books or something? I don't know. I didn't read the books. Is he a consultant? I think in some episode, maybe last season or this season, like he had been talking about being a consultant. He might have. I don't know. I could be wrong. But no, like, is he a consultant? Like, is it in the books? Is he a consultant? Like, because like at this point it's like, why work for a system that if you amass enough money where you could start your own shit in some way, form, or fashion, like why continue to be a part of a system that, you know, like you could Trojan horse your way in, make your first few million and get the fuck out and amass your own shit. Like, girl. That man said, I will not forfeit other children from my children. That's how much of a bad bitch you have to be. That's how much, because my children's life are not more important than other children's lives. We need to be saving all the children. Will I protect my future children down to the bone? Yes, I will. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I will throw other children under the bus to protect my children. I'll find every which way around getting to a position like that, because absolutely not. If me and my children had to be homeless, they took away all of our shit, well, we'll learn how to thrive and grow in love and poverty until we get to a place where we can grow, because I've been impoverished before. We'll build from scratch again. We'll figure it out, like on some Beloved shit. Only I don't think I could kill my children. Like, I'm not doing that. But if we got to be homeless, they'll just learn a lesson. They'll learn that none of this shit matters. All that matters is the love we have for each other, because that is the most powerful thing in the world, and that's what's going to keep us safe in this fucked up place, instead of forfeiting our souls for these fucking evil ass people and shit. We have each other. We have love and shit, you know. And I just I have a limit. There are things that I will be homeless for. There are things that I will not accept. I will not endure. I will not allow any of my future children to endure and taint themselves or their souls. And I'm just realizing how many people don't have a limit in this world, and that's sad, and that is indicative of people lacking in a certain level of self-love, that you would forfeit your own soul and children, like, to get an evil object covered in blood, like, and kiss it on the mouth. That's not my soul. That's their soul. But anyways, I feel vindicated and righteous and justice and glorified in the name of Jesus. And God bless these babies in this world that are being harmed and tortured and abused and all sorts of things. God bless them. And I'm so glad to be getting back to one video a week. Nigga, I literally am exhausted. Absolutely not. So we're getting back to one video a week next week, back to Abbott by itself. I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought. Later days.